So, we're going to start things off. WSU is on the blue side, and Wentworth is on the red side. A couple of bands coming through already. WSU blocks out the Katarina, the Zed, and the Gangplank, as well as WIT blocking out the Silas, Jarvan, and Aatrox. So, if you are not familiar with either of these teams, we have not streamed with them yet, but I have heard from the team themselves that there is a Gangplank one-trick on their team, as well as the fact that I do know that Fixie likes his Silas. So a couple of target bans, coupled with a couple of just strong picks here with the Aatrox and Jarvan banned away. But Kennen is going to be picked up by Eclipse on WSU's side. He is a Kennen main, as we all know. He does like to play his Kennen top side, so WIT responds in kind with the but Kaisa and Rakan here. Very strong bot lane. Pulling the Rakan out is kind of interesting. I'm not super sure how well he does currently, but I know he is a very strong support, at least at this point in time. No matter how much you nerf the guy, he's just so insanely mobile and can do so much. But with those two locked in, Nautilus and Lux. So Lux is one of those picks here where it's kind of like a solo queue pick, and I know for a fact that Ivy is a very hardcore Lux player where she likes her Lux, she plays it in solo queue a lot, and she tries to get it when she can, because if I recall, it was banned against her in the past couple of games. And then couple that with the Nautilus, I haven't actually seen anyone on WSU play Nautilus as of yet, but I would assume that's going into support lane, as Deuce Volt was a top laner for them last year and is pretty comfortable on the champion overall. And then finishing off the first pick of the first picks rather for WIT, they have the LeBlanc. So Lux versus LeBlanc. What's going to happen here? Nobody knows. We're going to have to see how it goes as LeBlanc picks up that Ignite, and Lux has the barrier on her side for a little bit extra protection. Now that could always change as pick bans go through, but we'll have to see. And then Xayah ban coming out of WIT. Don't want to give Nat 4 one of his most comfortable champions, and couple that with a Pantheon ban away on the side of WSU. Now, Pantheon's one of those champions that I like to explain as a pub stomper. I think he did get nerfed a little bit in the latest patch, but he's still pretty strong in my opinion, just from seeing him in gameplay. And then a Sejuani Jace ban. This is interesting. Now, the Sejuani not so much, because I know Fixie plays a lot of junglers. He plays the Sejuani, he plays the Silas, he plays the Jarvan, he plays Kha'Zix a lot, but Sejuani is an overall very safe pick in the jungle, so no real surprise there. And then the Jace, though, panning that away from potentially the top laner on WIT's side. Now, Jace is one of those really annoying champions, but it's kind of interesting that he was banned away because they pick up Mordekaiser on the side of Wentworth here. Mordekaiser versus Kennen, I think he's going to have a little bit of a difficult time earlier game, but if he can get off the ground, I think Mordekaiser can do a lot, just pretty much negating an entire champion on the enemy team for himself. But even if Mordekaiser does go away, as long as he can get rid of one champion with his ultimate, I wouldn't be too surprised if that's kind of the plan here. And then we're finally going to get the last pick here over on the side of WSU, and it is going to be the Kha'Zix. So I have mentioned it already that Fixie, the jungler on Worcester State, is a very aggressive jungler. He likes his assassins, he likes his damage, and I believe Kha'Zix is probably one of his favorite champions next to Silas currently. So no surprise that they do pick that up. But with the Kha'Zix, probably going to go for a little bit of an earlier pressure here because the amount of damage that he can just put out earlier on in the game to mid-game. Things to watch out for here on Worcester's side is you need to kind of make plays earlier on and try to snowball your lanes with this Kha'Zix. Not so much as a Lee Sin would, but Kha'Zix having so much early game front-loaded damage, like just jump in, Q, isolation buff, auto attack, electrocute, depending upon what you go, is very front-loaded. And if you can't get off the ground, he can fall a little bit behind comparatively to the Hecarim here, who all he really needs to do is run at someone and then use his devastating charge and ultimate to be a champion. So curious to see how this one's going to go. If we just look across the board, Kennen, Mordekaiser, Kha'Zix versus Hecarim, Lux versus LeBlanc, Jinx versus Kaisa, and Nautilus versus Rakan. That's actually interesting. I don't know if that's actually a spectator bug, but the actual names of the champions are different fonts on both sides of the screen. That's kind of, I had no idea. I'd never noticed that before, or it could just be a bug, who knows. But either way, we will have to see. I want to know how this is going to work out because Worcester State did pick the Jinx here, which I'm not necessarily too sold on because they don't really have much of a front line aside from the Nautilus. Now, don't get me wrong, Nautilus can be a beefy frontline tank. However, it is going to be a support, and he is going to have to do a lot more with a lot less gold. So that is a little bit of worry here because they do have a Lux, Kha'Zix, Kennen who all want to just, or at least Kennen and Kha'Zix just want to jump in. So if Jinx is out of position even once, it's going to be easy for the Hecarim, easy for the LeBlanc to just run at Jinx, or even the Rakan, just jump on the Jinx and end it from there. So it's kind of interesting thinking about how Kennen wants to jump in and do a huge team fight. And while Jinx does want to do that huge team fight, if she gets picked off or she gets ran down by any of these champions that excel at running down champs, then they're going to have a really rough time with their AD carry comp. So with that, we have about a minute and a half spectator delay, so we're going to take it over for 1 second, take a quick 2-second break while they're loading into the rift, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to deal with a situation that came up. My bad, guys. Unfortunately, I had to walk away from my computer while this was going on. But we'll get into the game now. So at least you guys got to see what was happening while I didn't get to necessarily talk about it. But as I walk away and come back, Fixie gets a kill on the jungler. So here we go. Back into the game that I am now able to cast. 5 minutes in, about 3 kills to 1 already for WSU. And it's kind of exactly what I spoke about in Champions, like with Kha'Zix and Fixie. Being that hyper-aggressive, liking to get that early aggression, early pressure on. It's on, dude. It's already on. The lights are on. Oh, the Bluetooth? Like this. I have no idea. No idea, bro. Sorry, man. Alright, I'm gonna turn the music or the sound up here just so we can hear a little bit of what's actually going on in the... Oh, you know what? I got this. Here we go. Watch this magic. Insane. You can hear everything now. So good. Turn up my volume now so I can hear a little bit. Perfect. Much better. But now, Kennan's getting Eclipse running away with his Lightning Rush. Going to get away totally fine. Nothing lost too bad. The hook does land on a Rakan, but he is Rakan, a speedy boy. He's going to get out of there scot-free. No harm, no foul. He's going to be A-okay after that. And now just looking at lane state right now, as actually Fixie invades on Igneous Knight and does so much damage. That's the power of that Kha'Zix, especially with that red buff. All it was a Q empowered auto with the isolation buff, and he took away his entire health pool at that point. Hook does land onto Rakan, does get the W away though. Could have been really risky if he didn't. And now Lux and LeBlanc fighting in the mid lane. Lots of damage trading back and forth. That was actually a pretty even trade in the long run. But now, here comes the ultimate from Kennen. Gets a double stun under tower. They do take Kennen out now, but now Fixie gets pulled back under the tower. Flash away from Mordekaiser, going to get the double kill. And that was a little bit of a botched dive there, as both members of WSU do die to something that looked like it was going to work out in their favor. But now, looking at the lanes here, getting their first buys, level 6 just now starting to become a threat here as both solo laners. But the hook lands from downtown onto Kaisa. Lots of damage, but still, they have so much shielding and so much mobility with the Rakan here. Now, like I mentioned in Champs, like we were talking about the aggression and the early game kill potential of the Kha'Zix combo with anything. It's going to have to be seen if WSU can turn this into some sort of snowball fest here, and WIT has to kind of take a step back at this point. I mean, they're only down 1,000 gold now, but the later this game goes, probably the better it's going to go, honestly, for WIT. If they can jump onto the Jinx, bada bing, that's probably an easy fight one for them. So, nothing too bad at this point. Only 1,000 gold differential, a little bit of damage on the towers, no plates done yet. A couple of kills over, but got that 2-2-2 scoreline on the Kha'Zix. Looking over at the Hecarim, he's got the 2-2-1, so pretty similar aggression here from both sides. Kha'Zix is back in the ward brush. He's going to try to go for some cheese here, potentially. Is he going to go for the risk? Oh, he goes for it, and he does not get it. That looked like it should have worked, but I'm not a game developer. Who knows? Small indie company. Meanwhile, Hecarim finishes his red. Mordekaiser's got the double buffs now, and that is a scary Mordekaiser to be dealing with. With the regen and the burn from that red, he should be okay up in this top line, even though Kennen should theoretically be able to poke him down. Lux does a lot of damage to LeBlanc, but passive's going to proc. LeBlanc's going to be good, knocked down to about 15% health now, and going to try to stay. The Jinx rocket just barely swinging by LeBlanc. Nice try, but no luck on the Jinx, unfortunately, at this point. Now, she does have the BF sword, so she's going to start to be able to... Oh, there's still no game sound? I thought I fixed the game sound. Hold on, I fixed the game sound. Game sound better? Can you hear it now? Game sound better? I turned on the game sound. I think that should work. I don't know. It looks like it's working. If it's working, let me know. If it's not, let me know. I'll fix it if it isn't. But anyways, going into the game again, Mordekaiser's got level 8 now. That ultimate is available. Everyone in this game has ultimate, aside from Nautilus, who is not far from it. Both junglers are on the top side now, looking for some potential invade. Is my voice too loud, or should I just turn up the in-game sound? There we go. Kha'Zix and Hecarim get found out in the jungle. It does a lot of damage. LeBlanc's going in for it, but here comes Lux collapsing, and meanwhile there's a fight in the bot lane. The ults go down onto Kai'Sa. Lots of damage. Heal forced out. Ignite as well. Burned. And now both bot laner teams are just walking away from that fight. Looks like not much damage happened there with all the summoners burnt, but Flash onto the Lux does a lot of damage back to LeBlanc, but doesn't matter. No kills coming through yet. Turn mine down away a little bit. Okay, cool beans. I'll turn mine down. Oh, okay. And then turn up the game sounds. How's the game sound? Is that better? I did that a little bit. See how that goes. If that's still bad, I can fix it even more if I need to. I think. I don't know. Turn game sound down a wee now. And you a wee. Okay. Down a little bit. Down a little bit. How's that? Is that better? Pretty good? I don't know. Professional stream here, guys. That's how it goes here. I think that looks like it's pretty even on the audio levels. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks for the help, Cog. I appreciate it. Okay, looking back at the game. This looks like WSU is starting up that Earthdrake. Probably going to get it here for free, really, as WIT don't really have anyone in position to deal with it. As they say that most of the bot line of WIT does back and continued fighting up here in the top lane, just trying to get some priority. Looking at the farm differential over across the teams, or the board rather, it's pretty even overall. Junglers, top laners, mid laners, all pretty even, with a slight differential in the mid lane, about roughly 15 CS ballpark. That's not really to be surprised because Lux is a longer range poke champion, so that's kind of how it goes. But this is getting to the point where it's going to start to get risky. Mordekaiser is in the bot lane now, and teleport comes out from the Kennen, coming through, forcing the flash away. Flash Hextech coming in from Kennen, gets a lot of damage on Mordekaiser and Rakan. Mordekaiser just barely getting away from that, flashing away as the Rakan. Mordekaiser is in the Shadow Realm, but now Jinx is into the fight. Does have her BF sword here, doing so much damage with those rockets. Kha'Zix comes in. That's 2 kills for Kha'Zix and another kill over to Jinx here, as that fight was a slugfest back and forth and looked like it could have gone either way, but WSU do come out on top. Oinga boinga indeed, as LeBlanc goes into Lux now, getting some damage as best she can, but gets the better of the trade, and it looks like WSU is going to get this first tower, and that is 5 turret plates for WSU's bot lane. That is a lot of gold right there for the team, and if we look at the gold now, what is the gold button? I never remember what the gold button is. Is it X? It is X. Bada bing. Just like that. On the bot laners alone, the 80 carries have 1,000 gold difference in the favor of WSU now. And then Kennen as well has roughly a 700 gold lead over Mordekaiser. And honestly, Kennen with any amount of gold in that ultimate, if he can get in a good ultimate team fight, that's pretty much a fight won over for WSU. So, like I said in Champ Select, WIT are going to live or die by being able to pick off that Jinx. Because they have no front line aside from Nautilus, and if they decide to use that to go in with the Kennen, then Jinx is going to be completely gone and left alone. So, how well can WSU execute this team fight comp, or how well can, WIT execute on destroying any of the backliners from WSU? WIT, WSU, holy cow, there's a lot of names here, but Kha'Zix jumps onto the LeBlanc, hooks it down the entire health pool practically. 1 Q, 1 auto attack, and 1 Q for good measure. LeBlanc goes down. Vixie now 5 kills. It's an insane amount of damage coming out of this bug. Kennen goes in with the lightning rush trying to clear the wave. And lane swaps coming in from the bot laners now, trying to get top lane tower. Rift Herald does go down. Worcester's going to pick that up. Jinx is now going to be on top side with Nautilus, try to force down the next tower for their team, get even more gold in their favor. And we'll see how this goes, but bot lane is roaming up towards the mid lane for Ivy now. Momboon, SB, and then Froppel making their way back down. Kennen getting things to back off as Kai'Sa and Rakan are on their way back to the bot lane. But There is no support for this Mordekaiser right now. He has to just sit and watch while Jinx and Nautilus tear this tower apart. And Hecarim is seen there, knows they're going to be up with that ward in the Tri-Brush. Gets a charge onto Jinx only, but the amount of CC Nautilus has is going to keep Mordekaiser away. Going to try to do his best he can to keep onto the Jinx, but he just doesn't have the damage. The grasp does go through to Nautilus, but now Fixie is here, gets the Rampage onto Hecarim. He does go down, and they just did not have the damage. They continue to overextend, try to go for that Jinx like we were talking about, but Jinx Rocket, and look at this damage coming out of this Kha'Zix. And with that being said, Mordekaiser is going to go for Jinx, just barely miss it by a sliver of health, and Fixie is 7 kills now in his pocket. That is an insane amount of gold for this Kha'Zix, nearly 2,000 gold ballpark up over his jungle counterpart. So this is going to be very scary, but LeBlanc he does flash over the Champas, and LeBlanc's going to pick up her first kill of the game. Ignite goes down, trying to get as much damage onto this Nautilus as she can. She does not have ultimate, but she does have a lot of... Ooh. Oof, that is a Nautilus. That is a Nautilus with a lot of CC and a dead LeBlanc. That's all she wrote, fellas. I can't say much more about that. Hecarim now running down mid lane, trying to get as much pressure as he can and trying to pick this game up. Try not to get too far behind from their enemy team, as Worcester State are set to run away with this game. Nearly 5,000 gold in favor of Worcester at this, for 4,000 gold. Math is hard. Don't ever do math live, guys. It's not good. Both junglers bot side now, as the teams are preparing for a potential push, and this dragon is now coming up. It is another Earth Drake. So Worcester picking this up could mean an easy and quick Baron at this point. But with Fixie here, he has a lot of damage from Worcester. I wouldn't be surprised if him being here alone forces off all of Wentworth. And with all those wards being cleared out by Nautilus, by Kha'Zix. Now Nautilus getting a little bit caught with the amount of CC that Wentworth has. Kaisa goes over the wall with the ultimate, but Nautilus is a lot more tanky than they expect. He does go down to LeBlanc eventually. Rakan tries to get it onto the Jinx, but meanwhile Kha'Zix is picking up the Earth Drake. And lots of damage. They do trade over 1 kill for that Earth Drake, but oh, that binding landed! That was insane. That did not look like it landed, but still, regardless, Luck's going to pick up her second kill of the game now with that Earth Drake, as well as the Rift Herald coming down to mid lane. This is going to be a rough push to stop. 1 member down on Worcester and 1 member down on Wentworth. That tower's going to fall. It looks like Worcester is going to push for another charge, get that extra damage onto that tower, potentially even take the tower. 4 members down. LeBlanc is seen on the side, so they could just get this push, get that extra charge in the tower. More damage coming out. Kha'Zix is here. Hecarim's looking to do something about it, but the charge just goes through the Rift Herald, trying to prevent that from happening, and that tower goes down to half health. Ivy taking a lot of damage from LeBlanc, but the distortion doesn't land. Mordekaiser coming in from the side. Kha'Zix as well. I don't believe he's seen with no wards there. And Worcester do successfully push down a tower, but Wentworth able to stop that inner tower from going down. Meanwhile, Hecarim's going to try to pick up some gold on this top side of the map, and the only outer tower left for Worcester to take is going to be the top side, so I expect that to be where they're headed now. With Fuse Volt, Nautilus taking down another ward, trying to get some more protection for his team, more vision coverage. He does spot out no handles there on that Mordekaiser, but he's going to be A-okay. Nautilus is quite tanky already, as it is with those Ninja Tabi. Kennan's working his way bot lane. Both top laners have TPs available at this point. Now, 5,000 gold in the lead, like I was talking about earlier. Kha'Zix picking up that red buff. He's got his warriors enchant. He's got his Dustblade. He's got an extra longsword, and he's got some Moby, so he's going to be zooming wherever he needs to be. Now, bot lane 4, Worcester is pushing the top side of the map as well. Is going to probably get their last outer. Mordekaiser is there, but I don't think Mordekaiser can do anything, especially since Wentworth have no vision of the enemy team at this point. And as such, that tower goes down, but Kennan flashes in on 2 members of Wentworth. Jumps over for Fixie. Oh, Rakan's running away. He's so fast, just barely gets out of there with just a sliver of health. And we got to pause. Looks like the game's no longer paused, so I don't need to get up. That's good news. Okay, cool. Well, now we have a pause. I don't know what's going on with this pause. Oh, stop. Oh, I love League of Legends. Oh, I love League of Legends. Oh, there we go. We got the unpause. Here we go. All right. Now, Eclipse and Kha'Zix both bot lane now. Hecarim does catch Lux out, but that binding's going to do a lot. He does get on the other side of the ultimate, so it doesn't matter. The snare's going to go onto Lux. Do get the hook onto the Hecarim as well, so she is going to fall in the end. Hecarim, however, will be revenge killed. Oh, that zap does hit on LeBlanc, getting the slow, but it's just not going to be enough. Oh, she does go with the jukes from those distortions. Fancy feet from this LeBlanc, but too little, too... Oh, she's juking me. I have no clue where she's going. Did she get out of that? That's got to be a highlight. Holy cow. And it doesn't even matter because Pixie just jumps over a wall and takes it down anyways. But with LeBlanc gone, that's going to be another tower down in the mid lane. And Pixie's pressuring in on this red side jungle. But with Jinx here, with Kennen here, Kennen does not have his ultimate, but the entire team of Worcester is here aside from Lux at this point. So getting a lot of pressure. Baron is up in about 15 seconds, and that could seriously be a point of contention. While 20-minute Baron is very rare, Worcester have 2 Mountain Drakes, which means that thing is going to go down so fast. Yeah, see, look at that. Ping, 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 ping. Granted, that's not Worcester, but Infernal Drake will be up in a minute and a half as well, so that is another thing to think about. Nice ping at the 130. Beautiful. As we get the resets, let's take a look at the gold difference here. We got 2,000 gold just on the 80 carries alone. Roughly 2,400 gold, 2,300 gold on the junglers, and another 1,500, give or take, on the top laners. So gold kind of evenly distributed over here for Worcester State, so no surprise there, but this is not where you want to be at if you're Wentworth. You just kind of want to survive the storm at this point and wait until, you know, you guys can get a pick. You want to get a pick onto that Jinx. You want to get a pick onto that Lux or something. You don't want them to allow, you don't want to allow Worcester to get a team fight. You don't want them to get that Kennen ultimate into 3 and then the Jinx Runans just shred your entire team. Need to make a proactive play here, but it looks like Wentworth was just kind of stuck on the back foot. They don't really know how to respond to any of this, at least at this point. And with Infernal Drake spawning in roughly 30 seconds, Worcester is prepping for it. Getting the wards in the enemy jungle, preparing for it, but potentially even doing a death rush strat here. There is a red, or a pink ward rather, for Wentworth in the bot side jungle for that dragon, but they don't see any of the enemy team. Pings are going down for Worcester, looking to get that death rush potential, but Pixie does get spotted on that pink ward as he destroys it. And still, Worcester being very patient here, looking to do what they can. They don't see Mordekaiser. They're just waiting for someone to come over that ward. But regardless, Wentworth smells something fishy, and they don't want to risk it. And Worcester is going to pick up their 3rd Drake of the game. And that Infernal is even more of a reason to worry about how this game is going to go later in this game. 2 Mountains and an Infernal Drake. They're going to do so much damage to Baron. And with that extra Infernal % of damage, that's an insane amount that they're going to be able to shred through the enemy team with. But setting it back up, Worcester looking to prep for a Baron here as Pixie goes in onto LeBlanc. Just insta-gives LeBlanc. Kha'Zix is this game. That's a rough Kha'Zix. I can't even believe it. And now Jinx shredding the entirety of that Baron. That Baron's gone with 2 Mountain Drakes. Hecarim comes over the wall. Blue team gets it. They miss the smite. Hecarim could have potentially gotten it, but with that missed smite, Nautilus picks it up. Pixie goes over the wall, does pick up the Recon, and now Mordekaiser's left alone. Pulls Pixie into the Shadow Realm, trying to do what he can. Flashes away to get away from the Jinx, but there's not much he can do with the Nautilus. Throwing that hook right out there. He does fall. Building that 4, picking up the 3rd kill of the game. Jinx now 3 kills, 8 assists. Lots of gold in her pocket with the Runes at Infinity Edge, and she is going to be shredding the enemy team at this point. 8,000 gold differential. Baron up, 3 dragons. This is looking pretty rough for Wentworth at this point. We'll have to see how far Worcester want to push this, how far they want to go into this game, and how deep they want to go into enemy territory. The Baron up minion's going to do a lot to this tower. Jinx can shred it down. Bada bing, bada boom. 1 tower gone. Kennen split pushing bot lane. Teleport is available. Hook does land on LeBlanc. Forces the flash out, but now they're going for the fight. LeBlanc gets the chains on a Deuce Vault. Nautilus is going to fall. Hecarim goes in on the backline. There is no tank for Worcester at this point. Baron, TP's coming in from Kennen. A little too late, it looks like, as Jinx falls down to Hecarim. Chasing down Ivy now. All the damage from Worcester is getting chased down. Kennen goes in. Does get a beautiful ultimate, but just barely gets 2 kills. Potentially could get a 3rd. Zhonya's goes down. And he's lightning rushing away. Mordekaiser here, though. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get much more. Pixie jumps in now to the fray. Goes for the double jump. Flash Q. What is this fight? Everything's happening so late. Now Pixie's going up against no handles on this Mordekaiser. And that was the most strange delayed fight I've seen in a while, but it looks like it was pretty even trade with 4 kills falling on either side. But Baron obviously falling off of Worcester is a huge boon for Wentworth at this point in time. Although I can't say I expect Wentworth to do too much more in the future of this game with 10,000 gold lead for Worcester, regardless of having Baron or not. That is a huge gold differential to overcome, unless your name's TSM, in which case, who knows. Now, pings on the dragon. It's going to be another infernal. If Worcester get that, that could be huge. And look at those crits, just from those huge crits. Infinity Edge, Runan's Hurricane, even a Quicksilver Shash. Jinx knows that she doesn't have to really do much in this game. She can just sit back, auto attack, and get in that Quicksilver Sash. She does enough damage. She doesn't necessarily need to get in that Merc Sim potentially even. Just to stay safe from that Rakan, stay safe from that LeBlanc or the Hecarim, and just keep herself away from the entire enemy team should be enough to have Worcester securely take over this game. Now, wards on the top side, wards on the bot side, looking across the map. Both teams defensively prepping for this. Worcester pushing in on Wentworth. Lots of damage goes through over. Now, LeBlanc jumps in onto Jinx, just barely getting out of that with no CC coming through from the Nautilus, is barely missing. And Rocket's going to clear those minion waves, and lots of damage. Holy cow, that Rakan just barely lives from that. Just a couple rockets. Meanwhile, Kennen split pushing on the bot side. Does have his ultimate up available again, so no Baron this time, but this looks like this tower is going to be the last outer tower to fall at this point, as all members of Worcester State are pushing down. And at this point, there is only inhibitor towers to protect Wentworth. Looking at this map and all those wards, clearing it out, the dragon is up and available in about 30 seconds, and Worcester are in perfect position to take it. Another Infernal for Worcester would most assuredly secure them this game with the extra amount of damage that they would get from it. Not that they need any extra damage, because they can all pretty much insta-give any of the carries over on the side of Wentworth. But Wentworth are not in position to prevent this. Regardless, Dragon spawning in about 20 seconds now. Wentworth have 20 seconds to make a decision if they want to go for this or try and push something out. But Worcester probably going to get this Dragon for free here, as Mordekaiser is not in position. He went top. TP is down, and yeah, it looks like Wentworth are just going to give up this Dragon for free. Worcester have the entire area warded, prep for this. They know. Yeah, it looks like they're just giving it up. Kennen's on the backside, does have his ultimate available, and they just do so much damage with the double Mountain Drakes and that extra Infernal. That is 2 Infernals, 2 Mountain Drakes, and that is a scary Drake combination to have if you are Wentworth right now. Looking at the enemy team, thinking, how do you come back in this game? Now, on the bright side, the gold lead hasn't gotten any worse. 10,000 gold. It's been 10,000 gold for about 2 minutes now. Could have been getting worse. But this is going to be pretty rough if we're just kind of sitting here waiting for, Worcester to roll over at this point. 23-12, 4 Drakes to none, and a 10,000 gold differential to boot. Wentworth are going to have to pull out some crazy tricks here to come out over Worcester. Stream is lagging bad. That's no good. Well, this game's should potentially, I shouldn't say about to be, this game looks like it could be over pretty soon, and then I can take a look at what's going on with the stream. Let's see. How's it look? Well, it looks fine to me. Well, honestly, I don't know. I'm not really watching, but here we go. Potential fight. Kha'Zix is going in for a invade here, trying to get some pressure, make Wentworth think about it. Oh, it just randomly spikes. Oh, that's weird. All right, I'll take a look at it after this game, man. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, and now Baron's up with 2 Infernals, 2 Mountain Drakes. This Baron's gonna go down instantly, practically, especially with this Jinx. Look at that. Wentworth don't even have time to think about it, and that Baron is just gone. And now Worcester's gonna try to push down a wave here, and this is probably the last fight that's gonna happen. The zap does go through, doesn't really do too much from the shielding from Rakan, and Worcester's shoving down mid lane. All ultimates are available on both teams here. Now, what's going to happen? Rakan kind of pushed out a little bit in the mid lane. Baroned up cannon minion wave here. Going to get a lot of damage on this tower. Not a lot of wave clear aside from the Kaisa on Wentworth at this point. And that grasp almost gets Fixie, but I'm not sure that's necessarily who you want to grab at that point. And look at that poke. Those Jinx rockets, that Lux doing so much work. Lower that HP on those enemy carries. And Baron minions shoving into that tower, going to tank up that tower hits. And that tower is gone immediately. Didn't even have a second chance. Now Fixie gets a lot of damage from Hecarim on that side, but it's honestly just pulling Wentworth apart right now. Worcester are just kind of tearing them, pulling them split right down the middle of the map. Mid lane, bot lane potentially going down here as the rest of the Worcester squad rotate bot. Wentworth not able to make the decision here how to do this, how to come back in. Wow, Kennen goes in 1-on-5 there. Does get the Zanya, keeps himself safe, but wow, Rakan just falls immediately, and Kha'Zix jumps in on Mordekaiser. He does go down with a double kill. Another kill over to Fixie. Triple kill, jumps into 4 kills. Doesn't let him get the penta as Jinx picks up the Kaisa. That feels so bad. But that's now the next inhibitor's going to fall. Worcester's going to finish up this game, take those Nexus towers at this point. In 30 minutes into the game, 28-12, and a 13,000 gold difference. Worcester's going to take game 1. Alright, now I'm going to take a look at this stream lag that you say were happening, and I'll be right back. Hopefully I can figure out what's going on with the stream and go from there. So thank you all very much for watching. We'll be right back with game 2 and hopefully a fixed stream.